Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fire Station number 8 in downtown St. Paul. I'm the Fire Chief, Tim Butler, and on behalf of the 475 members of the St. Paul Fire Department, I want to welcome you and thank you for your interest and your attendance here today at the award ceremony. We're going to recognize 2 Canadian Pacific Railroad employees for their selfless and decisive actions to rescue a lost boy who wandered into a truly perilous situation back in on May 11th. So joining me today are going to be members of the St. Paul Fire Department, the crews that responded to the call. We're going to introduce Ed Greenberg, the CP of Media Relations at Canadian Pacific Rail. We'll have Steve Fry, a train master from Canadian Pacific, the Simon Dett family, Steve, Becky, Nora, and Elsie, and we're going to have little William, the boy that was rescued, and then of course our 2 star attractions, the 2 award recipients, engineer Jarrell and conductor Ben Goar. The Indian Mounds Regional Park in St. Paul is a sacred, historic, and scenic place located on St. Paul's Lower East Side. The park contains 6 historic Native American burial mounds, after which the park is named. The remains of those people buried in those mounds are over 1,000 years old. The park sits atop the bluffs above the adjacent Mississippi River. Visitors to the park enjoy a scenic, windswept vista of Holman Field, the river, the maritime commerce activities, and of course the railroad operations below. The park forms a natural boundary between the river and the Dayton's Bluff neighborhood of St. Paul, and the peace, beauty, and historic nature of the park have lured generations of visitors to the park. But the allure also leads visitors into dangers at times. The bluffs drop off sharply to the railroad tracks below, and in some cases the bluffs turn into steep cliffs that plunge over 200 feet. Unwary visitors or careless hikers can find themselves trapped on inaccessible areas of the steep bluff face with no way to gain safety. Footing is precarious and handholds are few. As wonderful a place as Mounds Park is to visit, it's also been the scene of many tragic falls and dramatic rescues over the years. But the events that unfolded on May 11th, 2013 certainly were dramatic, but because of the actions of 2 alert and decisive CP rail workers, tragedy was averted and the life of 7-year-old Williams was saved. So I'd like to introduce you now to Canadian Pacific Railroad engineer Jarrell and Canadian Pacific Railroad conductor Ben Goar. Ben, Fred. This is Fred. Fred, welcome. Ben, welcome. We have members of Fred and Ben's family here today. These are the guys that are going to be awarded the department's letter of commendation for saving young William, and we'll make that presentation now. We'll give Ben and Fred a chance to speak and tell their side of the story, and then we'd like the Simon Dett family to come up, and make a presentation as well, and then offer some words of their own. So, Matt, if you'll give me the award, I'll read them off. The award's addressed to Mr. Jarrell and Mr. Ben Goar, Canadian Pacific Railroad, 1000 Shop Road in St. Paul. The subject is Letter of Commendation. Dear gentlemen, the City of St. Paul Fire Department values the aggressive actions of courageous firefighters and courageous citizens who go to the aid of a neighbor in times of peril. Neighbor helping neighbor is a distinguishing characteristic of the American Fire Service, and we especially revere selfless acts of courage that save the lives of others. Your actions on the evening of Saturday, May 11th, 2013, certainly are in keeping with the venerated fire service traditions and are worthy of public recognition. On the evening of Saturday, 11 May 2013, the 2 of you were operating your Canadian Pacific train along the Mississippi River bluffs in Warner Road in St. Paul. Unknown to you at the time, a 7-year-old autistic child had wandered away from his home and onto the bluffs of the Indian Mounds Regional Park. Shortly after 7 p.m., conductor Ben Goar spotted the 7-year-old boy trapped on the hillside above the tracks and struggling to find his way off the steep bluff face. Ben called 911 and then shouted directions and assurances to the child. Meanwhile, ignoring the significant hazard to his own safety, engineer Frederick Jarrell proceeded to climb up the dangerous bluff to rescue the young boy. He reached the child and then assisted him in climbing back up to the top of the bluff into the waiting arms of firefighters and police officers. The boy was scared but unharmed and was rapidly reunited with his anxious family. Your coordinated and impromptu rescue efforts went above and beyond those expected of ordinary citizens. Without your quick thinking, decisive actions, and selfless courage, the outcome for this child may have been severe. Your coordinated actions to rescue the boy undoubtedly kept him from significant harm and greatly eased the distress of the boy's parents. The St. Paul Fire Department believes in recognizing outstanding efforts during emergency situations. It is with great respect and our department's sincere gratitude for your actions that I award the two of you this letter of commendation for your successful improvised rescue work on May 11th. You are a credit to the railroad industry and to the Canadian Pacific Railroad. We're most fortunate to have you in our St. Paul community. Thank you for your extraordinary work. And it's sent to the mayor, the council, and the senior fire department staff, signed by myself, the fire chief. Frederick, congratulations. And Ben, thank you, and congratulations.
Hello. First of all, I'd like to recognize the true heroes of this great event. St. Paul Fire Department, St. Paul Police Department. I just didn't know I was going to become a part of such an elaborate find. It was instinct. There's nothing to be recognized personally for. I was so glad that I was able to do what I did. And when I saw little William up there, I thought it was, a few children on the cliffs playing. And then when I realized what actually was taking place, then that's when I kicked into action to do something about it. The true heroes was the fire department, the police department that was looking for him, and we just happened to run into helping search for little William. We didn't know we were looking for him. Thank you.
Just glad we were at the right place at the right time and everything worked out okay. Everybody responded faster than I thought they would. I didn't know they had been looking for him. But thanks to Fred here, climbing him up there, everything worked out all right.
Guys, do you want to introduce your family? Please go ahead. Well, Fred and Ben both have family members here. I'd like them to introduce their family and recognize them as well.
My mom, Jody, my stepfather Larry, and Grandpa Dick.
And my son, Frederick Jr., just arrived here at 4:30 this morning from Louisiana, student of LSU in Baton Rouge. My son.
Up here. I'm going to introduce now Steve Fry. He's the Canadian Pacific Train Master, U.S. West area. Steve?
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It was amazing that these guys, where they were at the time to save little William. I'm so proud of you guys. On behalf of CP, all I can say is outstanding. Great work, great situational awareness. Everything came together. St. Paul Police, St. Paul Fire, and just very happy that this turned out the way it did. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce you to the members of the Simondet family. We have Dad, Steve, Mom, Becky, we have little William, and we have Nora and Elsie, and they have a special award to present as well. Steve and Becky.
Okay, go get adjustment.
Thank you.
We just wanted to present some gifts to the rescuers, and on behalf of the family, thank you so much. William means to the world to us.
And I just wanted to say thank you very much.
Well, the city of St. Paul's delighted that William's been reunited with his family. We're blessed to have CP Rail as longstanding partners in emergency response within the city, and we're most fortunate to have CP employees like Fred and Ben working at Canadian Pacific. The natural areas of St. Paul are wonderful places to relax and explore and enjoy. The St. Paul Fire Department urges caution while in those natural places. However, because the natural beauty, along with that comes some natural dangers. So thankfully we have Fred, Jarrell, and Ben Goar to thank for their life-saving work on May 11th. Gentlemen, congratulations again on an exceptional job well done. We are going to conclude the award ceremony today, but we invite members of the media to talk with Fred and Ben, and all our visitors here to take a tour of the fire department. I'm sure the firefighters will be happy to show you our equipment and our training. Thanks very much, everyone. Congratulations again, gentlemen.